Hello and welcome to another live stream on gothamsound.com or wherever you're watching it. I'm Nick Houston, Sales Manager here at Gotham Sound. Today I'm joined by Timothia Sellers, veteran of the film and TV industry, currently the power of Mixer, the Mixer on Power, and from many other shows. Welcome, Timothia.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
One quick bit of big news, which I already told you, but a few hours ago, Electrosonics announced that they're coming out with the new SRC, which is a wideband SRB kind of upgrade thing. So it's got 3 blocks of selectable frequencies. It's got narrow band filtering like the 411. It's got an infrared port, and it's super slot ready. So there'll be more about that at some point.
I am very excited. I can't wait to check it out. Having all that versatility. I'm a little nervous.
Don't worry about it. I love your boots.
Thanks.
They look good. So tell me, how did you get started in sound?
Well, I have a love of music, and that's why I geared towards sound.
Mm-hmm.
It all started. I played instruments, and I had a boyfriend who played the drums, and we'd go into recording studios, and I'd sit behind the console with the headphones on and say, "I'm going to do this one day." And life takes you to different avenues, and so I got married and had a child early on, and so that was put in the back burner. But then later on, I went back to school to the Institute of Audio Research, and I made cables from there, and went to post-production and worked on the G3 Pro Tools. I went to, where did I go?
So that was
National
that was
Video,
post, right? Okay.
Yeah, then National Video was production.
Mm-hmm.
Although I did producing. I overlooked the Discovery Channel voiceover and the the billboards, coming up soon, watch at 7 o'clock, whatever, that. And then I went to Oxygen. And that was great, and I was A2ing and worked with bands and music, and then...
What was the show at Oxygen? Was that just...
It's called Trackers.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so they had music, and then they had interviews. So I would mic up the bands, the instruments and the bands, and got that sound checked and all that. And then I would mic up the actors when they would interview.
Anybody cool on that show?
We had the Goo Goo Dolls. We had Destiny's Child. We had Maroon 5, John Mayer. We had a lot of people before. It was in the 90s, I guess, early 2000. So then my husband at the time had a brain tumor and lost health insurance, and so I had to get into the union, so I chose so this would be health insurance, and and a friend of mine told me I should call another friend who's working in the business for many years, Pat, who's currently now my husband. So over time, one thing led into another, and we had a lot of things in common. And so he pushed me along the way, and I was introduced to Peter Schneider.
Uh-huh.
And Peter Schneider is one of what I call my disciples, is the Peter, Paul, and Matthew, who stood up for me in the union. And I worked with Peter early on, and John Hurst, and Larry Hoff, and John McCormick, many people. Yeah.
Cool. So you basically went from, I guess, your second job in production to going right into the union and...
Yeah, I mean, I made cables for a while, and then I did the post.
Right.
And then National Video, so that was production.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Oxygen was production. Yeah,
Cool.
so a couple of, and
And so you told me a funny story before about your first experience, or one of your first experiences on set.
Okay.
Something about a building being on fire.
Yeah. So I had very little working. I worked with Peter and Kelly Neese on a job. I believe it was Pootie Tang or one of them, you know. So we were in the Brooklyn Navy Yard, and it was very overwhelming and scary, but I got through it. So then when I first got in the union, I worked on third watch, and I went right into a fire, literally. You know, they said, okay, here you go, just stick next to the director, and we've been blowing up this warehouse. I was like, okay, well, I survived the one, I'll survive this. So it was literally out of the frying pan into the fire.
So they had this giant warehouse that was on fire, and it was just you, the director, and the DP.
And the actors, and it was a TV show with firemen and EMT, yes. So we had a lot of that. I also remember booming on it, and well, that's what I was doing, booming with the Steadicam. And we would have to, we'd practice over and over again. It was an emergency through a hallway with a gurney, the actors and everyone, with a Steadicam and me on the boom, and banging into things and knocking things over, and we would do it a few times. And finally, when we actually got it down, it was so gratifying. It was really nice. It was called dancing. You know, you would dance with the Steadicam. So that was a lot of fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then how did you make the transition from, I mean, you went to school for mixing, but how did you go from, you know, boom mopping and thirding on big shows to mixing a show like Power?
Well, when I first got in the union, the head of the sound department in the union told me that, he said, where do you see yourself, Kit, in 5 years? And I said, mixing, and he said, try tent. So I said, okay, and I took that literally. And so over the years, I would work with mixers, and they would just, you know, let me do a scene here, a scene there, and there was a couple of mixers that would come in late, and I would make sure that I set everything up, and I would mix the scene, and no one would know the difference. And they'd have to leave early. I'd step in, you know, a day here, a day there, a week, you know, an episode, or so little by little, I would, you know, do mix, and then. As I saw other people coming into the union and going right into mixing, I said, well, I better do it now and take the jump. So.
Something's falling in the background here. So tell me a little bit about what's it like mixing on Power? I don't really know the show, but.
It's actually, it's very exciting at times. We're always, you know, on location a lot. If the show, you're killing people. We're out at night. There's, yeah, we're in New York City a lot because that's where it takes place, and it's actual. You're up against a lot of background noises and a lot of different challenges. I love what I do.
Right.
You know, I love the fact of, like, whatever they're going to throw at you, okay, so how can we, you know, make this better? Or how can we make it work? So that's something that I love. I mean, I love what I do, and I don't like being out in the middle of the night all the time, but, you know, it comes with the job, so, yeah.
Right, and you guys mixed through the winter too, right? So
Yeah, September to March. Yeah, I just got off now.
How do you deal with being out in the cold like that? You know,
We have a tent. We'll put up a tent, and a lot of heavy gear, you know, layers, a lot of layers, because then you're in, and then you're out. You know, your Neos, your ski pants, your Parker, your Expedition. When we were on Sopranos, about 20 of us, we bought the Expedition Canadian Goose. The real big ones. It's like a house. So we would all walk. We were on the boardwalk at Asbury Park in the middle of winter. So that's why we bought them. But it's actually paid its dues. It doesn't owe me a thing. You know, I still wear it from time to time in the middle of winter in the freezing cold at night.
And do you ever have to put like any thermal stuff, like you know, heater packs or anything like that in your feet, or?
Oh yeah, we have heater packs, toe warmers. I even use hand warmers for my transmitters. you know, a lot of times you have to wire the actors and actresses, and sometimes, you know, in the winter you can get away with little layers, but for some reason being outside and it's in my cart and I'm outside, but we're doing a scene inside, so they're not wearing anything, so I have to put it on them. So I use hand warmers to warm up the transmitters.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So it comes in handy. It's a dual purpose.
Right.
Warming up my hands and the transmitters. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your kit. Like what kind of stuff do you have in your kit?
Over the years, I've worked with the Zaxcom a lot. I know that very well. I like electrosonics. I also now I'm testing out the sound devices. I like that. I want to know both.
Right.
You know, I can appreciate what each one has, and I use, you know, for microphones anywhere from, you know, the Sheps to, depending on lavs or you know, Sennheisers and Neumann. I've used quite a few different ones over the years, and all of them have their applications, you know. I know I like the 416s for certain rooms because it actually sounds better than some, you know, another, and they're really good, you know, with condensation and they're workhorses, but so's the Sheps. And lavaliers, I have the Countryman's, the Sankins Cause 11s, the B6s, the Trams. I want to try a DPA. I haven't tried that yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll set that up.
Yeah. And I want to try the new electrosonics.
Oh, the SRC.
Yes.
I can't help you there. They're not shipping just yet. But
I know,
soon.
but soon. Because
Yeah.
I'm going to build another cart. I just bought the Mix 12 with the 688. So I want to build a smaller version for day playing.
Right, so you can just load it in a
Yeah.
car.
Yeah.
In an
Yeah, I
SUV.
did yesterday. I loaded my regular cart in, and it's really, really heavy and cumbersome. I did it, but it was tough.
Right,
This one will be a lot easier.
right. And just
No problem.
roll it in and fold the seats down, and away you go.
Right.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And which Zaxcom do you have?
I have the Fusion and the Mix 12. Yes, and I really like it a lot, and I'm actually looking for another one just for a backup, and yeah.
So if anybody has a Fusion
Yeah.
out there,
Let
you
me
get
know.
a buyer. And then how many channels of wireless do you have, and do you use on a regular basis on a show like that?
Well, I have 11 wireless between the Zaxnet and the electrosonics. And I use, I 8. I could use up to 8, yeah. And then I have a couple for the bag, but definitely at least 8 on my cart. You know, and then I can always bring over from the bag if I need. I try not to, and I usually try to tell the directors that, you know, if we do it this way or that way. Yeah, right. They look at me like, okay.
So it sounds like you have 2 or 3 kits. You've got your kind of big rig. You've got a day play rig that you're working on, and then you've got like a to-go rig.
Yes, yes. That's why I need another, I don't know which one I'm going to buy, but I know I'm building with the 688 and the Mix 12 for the smaller, and then I have my Fusion in that Mix 12. And right now I'm using the 688 in the bag, so I want to buy something else, and I haven't decided yet which one I'm going to use for the bag. So, next couple of weeks.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
And then is there anything in your kit that, you know, besides microphones, besides, you know, recorders and mixers, you know, all the kind of obvious things, is there anything that you have in your kit and that goose down like Canadian jumpsuit that you think is just like a must-have that, you know, you couldn't do your job without it?
Well, I do encourage wardrobe to give Spanx to the women, even if they're this skinny, because you can use the Spanx, you can hide the transmitters in these tight little dresses and like close to nothing, and it holds it in, and you don't have to have a belt, because a lot of them, they have the pencil skirts and you could see. So if you put it on the inside of their leg in the Spanx, you don't see it. So I do, and a lot of women are very happy to do that. It makes their life a little easier and, you know, smoother.
Huh. So better than a belt and pouch kit. Because
absolutely. Spanx is the way to go. You can do it here, you can do it, you know, there's lots of options. Yeah, and that's the best thing I've come across with these little skimpy outfits. Yeah.
Which are very, very common these days.
Right, and they're short and tight, and you can actually, even if they have the short version of the Spanx, you know, you can ask the actress to just put it right up there, and the Electrosonics are really good. The 400, I know they're the older
SMs.
Version, the SMs, yeah, but they're good for that application. You know, I put a little moleskin. You know, but sometimes they get a little warm, but moleskin works.
Yeah.
Keeps them, you know, happy.
Cool.
So, yeah.
That's awesome.
It works many times. Yep.
All right, so I have to make that note. I used to do Love and Hip Hop a lot, and yeah.
Spanx.
Thanks. Good to know.
Okay.
All right, cool. So I guess, you're a mom. How is it being a mom in this industry?
It is a little tough. When I was in the non-union world, when we went to a certain place, you knew your schedule. It was a little easier. You could get childcare. You knew everything, where you're going, what time. In the production world, you have to get creative. People that are willing to work with you for, you know, times, because sometimes we're in at 4 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes we get out at 4 o'clock in the morning. So, you know, so it varies. I know my husband now, he's in the business. So when we had 3 kids and they were 12, and what was happening, it was working out where I would be off, he was working, he would be off, I was working. That works. But when we both have a job, we would have to hire someone. And she would come in and help with the homework and the cooking and, you know, shuffling around, you know, to the games and stuff.
Right.
But, yeah, you have to just get a little creative. It's tough, but, you know, it's doable.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. And so last question for me. Jared, it says broadcast ended here. Is everything okay? It's good? Okay, we're good. Great. All right, so last question for me is, you know, tell me, what's the funniest story that you can think of from your days on set?
I have one, third watch, right? So we have about, I was 30 at the time, we had eight wires and not as many inputs. So what I would have to do, my job was to run around and whoever was off camera, take the transmitter and put it on an extra actor that was on camera. So sun's going down, we're fighting light, you know, we got to get the shot in, and one guy was left to do, and I take the transmitter from the one actress and put it on the other actor, and she takes it off, and I was like, no, you can't do that, because he needs it. No, and she took it, and I couldn't argue with the actress, so I'm running down to the mixer, and I'm like, wait, he already says speed, he's not listening to me. I'm like, but no, and he won't listen to me, and I'm like, all right. I know what's going to happen. He brings up the fader, and he's on camera. Carlos, the actor's on camera, and there's no sound. It's somebody else. And he's cursing at me, cursing and cursing. And I knew he wasn't cursing at me. He was cursing at the situation. And I said, well, that's what I was trying to tell you. And, of course, the actress apologized after, but we didn't get the shot, you know.
Right.
Yeah, they got the shot with no sound. So, but I couldn't believe the fact that the actress took it right off of the other actor and wouldn't listen. I was like, you got to be kidding me! I'm telling you, it's, you know, and yeah. So that was comical. You know, everybody was looking, and he's screaming at me, and I'm like, oh. And I knew it wasn't at me because that's what he does. Yeah.
Right, because everybody's screaming at him. He's got to scream somewhere.
Yeah. So, yeah, and everyone was looking like, you know, oh my God, what's this poor girl, you know? He's like cursing and cursing. We were in, I don't know, Harlem. And they were like, what's going on? But anyway, it worked out fine.
And anything else you want to say, any closing statement, any advice you have for any young mixers?
Yes. You know what? Things happen all the time, and that's okay. It's going to happen. You just take a deep breath, you take a step back, and, you know, even if you have to just walk away from your cart and go back, and then it all comes to you. You know, things have happened all the time to me, and you just can't stop. You just got to keep going. And, you know, you put a smile on your face, and all right, it's going to be great. You know, and it does. It works out. You figure it out. You just can't stop. You just have to push through.
And you told me that your mom gave you like a motto to live by.
My mother said I could have anything I wanted in this life as long as I worked for it. And I said, really? I was 11. And I said, really? She said, yes. I went out and got 2 paper routes, the Daily News in the morning and the Post in the afternoon, and I haven't stopped since. I've been working ever since. And I love it. I love, you know, I love to grow and learn, and, you know, there's a lot to learn. Oh, God knows. I'm always calling these guys. So tell me about this. Tell me about that. They're brilliant. I love them.
Well, Timothia, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And yeah, we'll see you soon.
All right.
Timothia Sellers. Next week, on Tuesday, March 29th, we're going to have a little Spanish language demo of the Lectrosonics L series.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Really exciting. Yeah, we've got somebody who speaks Spanish in our sales department now, named John or Juan, or however you'd like to say it. The archive of this video is available at vimeo.com/GothamSound, along with all our other videos. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and if you have any ideas for any content you'd like to see, please email us at info@gothamsound.com.